Alright, YouTube, the subscriber count on this channel has more than doubled in a couple of months, and as of last night, literally probably within an hour of me actually falling asleep, I hit the big 66,666 subscribers. Now I only need 600,000 more for the next major hallmark after 100,000. The fact that it's now within the realm of possibility that this will happen is perhaps key here. I'm certainly happy. The amount of extra attention that this channel is getting allows me to put my views out more effectively. There are many people online right now that are seeing massive surges in their support, especially if they speak on politics or even current events in general. For instance, the channel was growing before all of this happened, the last couple of months of the election, the fallout, and so forth. It was already, several tens of thousands of people had subscribed to the channel. But with the legacy media increasingly dying, I have a feeling a lot of people have begun cutting the cord, probably millions of people since this election began. And they're now primarily looking for political analysis online, which is good. It's more fair. It's more smart. You see what's happening with the New York Times right now? We rededicate ourselves to unbiased journalism. Oh, but our journalism was unbiased anyway during the election. No, it wasn't. Even your fans understand that it wasn't. They just happen to agree with the bias that they saw there. Nothing at this point, I think, is going to save the newsprint media. The newsprint era of media is dying so rapidly that it might not, half of these groups might not be around by the midterms, honestly. Great! Get the fuck rid of them. They're worthless. Yeah, all of their analysis was wrong. Most of the political stories they have are biased. They barely even cover, science. The only thing they do right is sports, but they go online for that too. What's the point? Who still buys the New York Times? Who buys the LA Times, the Atlantic, Wall Street Journal, or any of these things? When's the last time you bought a physical newspaper? Probably a few of you have in the last year. Most of you probably not. The thing is, the reason why we're displacing the legacy media, and by the next election the legacy media will be completely blown the hell out of the water. The reason why is that people can interact with this content. It's cheaper to access it because you're going to be paying for internet anyway, so why buy the newspaper also or watch cable news TV or something like that? You can interact with it, you can comment, you can message somebody, you can ask them questions, regardless of how popular they are. The more, I'll say this does bear mentioning, the more people that pile onto this channel, the less likely I am to answer any specific message or comment, because the load has gone from, maybe a couple hundred comments a day to now several thousand. It would be impossible for me to actually respond to all of them. So I go through them, I do try to read as many as I physically can. I try to respond to at least significant questions that are asked. As far as messages, again, when you're getting 100 messages a day, it's a little bit more difficult. I'm trying, trust me. On the Facebook page, I won't be answering messages anymore. I'll tell you why. It's a lot easier to answer a message on YouTube for me, psychologically speaking, because I don't really like live chat. I just never have. There's a reason why I prefer YouTube over Facebook to communicate with people. I messaged people back at first on the Facebook page, the Sticks Hexenhammer 666 Facebook page. There are too many people there asking too many questions for me to be able to reasonably do that. If you are on that page, if you've asked something there or said something there, it's probably better to message me here. It's easier. It's just a load off for me as far as everything is concerned. I'm trying, though. You've got to realize I also balance this with I'm still editing and writing. I've got several blogs that I work on. So there's a huge amount of work. It's extremely rewarding being self-employed and actually being able to pull in a pretty decent chunk of money. Yeah, that's great. I couldn't be happier, honestly, but I can't respond to literally everything because then I wouldn't have any time to work on anything else. I wouldn't be able to make videos. I'd spend all the time responding to comments on videos that I've already made. But yes, it's an important milestone. I'm getting up there towards 100,000 subscribers. I would be fairly surprised if by the end of the year I don't hit at least 75,000 people. And the growth has continued. The election is now over. People are starting to look at other topics, and yet the growth is still continuing. Now, that level of growth I was already almost at anyway before the election. Specifically, I cover the occult. I cover entheogens, current events not related to politics, natural disasters, wars breaking out somewhere. Here's this social movement that I find interesting, some person, some place or thing. Ruminations on spirituality, on religion. I still have people telling me, well, your channel's moniker, the actual username, is ineffective, that's holding you back. At this point, with almost 70,000 people subscribed to the channel, it would be just short of suicidal for me to actually scrap this channel and move somewhere else. It's not going to happen. I have been Styx Hexenhammer since the first time I used YouTube, as far as when I had an account. Of course, in high school, I didn't have one. I was just there to watch music videos, essentially. Back during the primitive days, we're talking like 2006 and 2007 style YouTube. As soon as I had an account, first account, it was Styx Hexenhammer. Now I'm Styx Hexenhammer 666. And I'm going to remain Styx Hexenhammer 666. I'm not going to... it gets to the point where if you look up Styx, like I'm ahead of some of the results for the actual band, and Styx the band is quite famous, so I'm going to keep going with it. You know, I've got my books that I work on, and I've made several announcements, by the way, in the last couple of days on my books blog. There's some good stuff coming, a whole new category of material, and I'm trying to obtain something that's very, very unique off of eBay. I won't say anything about its title or even its specific content, but it's medical and herbal in nature. It's one of a kind, and I'm hoping that I can grab it up, because I'd really like to start expanding the occult archive again. I'm also bidding on a lot of smaller booklets. Those will be scanned, put in the archive. I'll release editions of them. They are occult in nature. It's like, you know, homeopathic sort of stuff. That sort of pre-modern medical period is of great interest to me. I love quack medicine and everything like that. So yeah, heading up here towards, 70,000 plus subscribers. Again, I would expect, it's pretty likely at the growth rate I'm experiencing, that 75,000 before the year ticks over to 2017 is pretty reasonable. At that point, hell, I'm ahead of a lot of these pundits in the legacy media, so why would I want to change the way I'm doing things? The only way I'm going to change things like blog-related, making things more streamlined, more effective, I said, of course, there's a chance I'll build a website, or have somebody help me rather build a website sometime next year. We'll wait and see on that, because I have to have everything else, all of my other ducks in a row first. But I am celebrating, yeah, with coffee, obviously. I'm extremely caffeinated today. It feels great. Love caffeine. Yeah. Maybe I'll just make a second pot to celebrate, and then I'll have a heart attack and die, but at least I wouldn't have died in vain. I've already accomplished a lot of what I wanted to accomplish in life. Oh, I wish I had written a book. Well, I did, several of them, and I'm not even 30 yet, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm stoked. That's about all. Peace out.